Today we're going to talk about Google Classroom and flubaroo. So first question is, what is flubaroo? Flubaroo is a Google add-on tool that you can add onto your Google Sheets. When you give a form and people submit answers to a form, those answers automatically go to a Google Sheet. All the results are stored in a Google Sheet. Well, with this tool added on to your Google Sheets, you can grade any Google form and send feedback to the students that take that form. So that's what we're going to take a look at first. Now, as far as the grading goes, only certain types of questions can be graded. Multiple choice, true, false, and any short response that are like 1 to 2 words or maybe like a numerical answer, those can be graded. You cannot grade like a sentence or a paragraph or anything like that. But those other ones you can. So we're going to take a look at how to do this. All of the steps are on the blue sheet that you picked up, so you can kind of do this on your own later. Right now, I want you to kind of watch as I do it. If you want to do it on your own later, again, you have all the directions typed out. I'm also recording this right now, so I'll have a video posted that you guys can watch if you want to.
How do you do that?
Very carefully, but that's for another time.
Okay, all right.
All right. So for this, what I'm going to look at is your responses. So here are the responses of everybody from this period. So again, this is in a Google Sheet that we're going to add on the flubaroo add-on. So if you look at the top, there's a section called add-ons. If you click there, you probably don't have anything yet, but you're going to want to get add-ons. So again, this is in Google Sheets that you have to do this, not Google Docs, not Google Forms. This is in Google Sheets. So here's flubaroo. If you don't see it right away, you can type in here to search for it. But here it is. I'm going to add it for free. And then it's going to ask me to accept all of this because flubaroo would like to use my email and so on. So I'm going to accept. And then shortly thereafter, you'll get a little pop-up. It's kind of working right now. But you'll get a pop-up that says flubaroo's been added. So now I'm ready to use flubaroo. So if I go back up to add-ons.
Where do you see add-ons?
Okay, it's in Google Sheets at the top. So if I go to add-ons, now I have flubaroo in there. And I have a few options. You can learn more about it, set language and so on. But I'm going to go ahead and grade this assignment. When I choose to grade this assignment, it's going to ask me a few things. It wants to know what to grade, first of all, what questions and what point values to give them. So I have all the questions from my form show up. The first one is username. So it already has it set up. That just identifies the student. I'm not going to grade that. The next one says, please enter your name. It's giving it 1 point, but I don't want it to do that. That also identifies the student, so I'm going to select that. And then please enter your email address. That identifies the student as well. The only things I'm grading on this are these 3 questions, and you can choose to give them 1, 2, 3, 4, or 5 points for those questions. You can also choose to skip grading. So if it's one of those questions, maybe you ask them a question that's a sentence or a paragraph that you can't grade, you can just do skip grading for that. Then I'm going to go ahead and hit continue. And the next thing it's going to ask is, what should I use for the answer key? So what I generally do when I create a Google form is I'll go through the live form myself to make sure that it's exactly how I want it to be for the students, and I'll go ahead and answer it. And I'll put the name on that as answer key, and I usually do it before any of the kids get to see it, so it'll come up as your first submission. So you don't have to have that as your first submission, but I suggest you go through the form yourself, answer it, and use that as your answer key. And hit continue, and it's going to grade those questions. And what happens is it opens up a brand new sheet inside of your sheet. So if you look down at the bottom here, it says student submissions. That's where all your answers went automatically. And there's another little tab right here that says grades. So points possible 3, the average was 3. Everybody got it right. All the questions right. So the counted submissions are 13 people that submitted it. And here's all the information. Now, since you all got it right, we're not going to see some of the other things that it'll do for you, but let's say that Nick got one of these wrong, and he got a 2 out of 3. He'd have a 66.67%. And what would happen is his score would come up red, warning you that he did not do as well. I think the 70% is the cutoff. I'm not exactly sure. But that'll show you, okay, this is a student to maybe take a look at, see what they did wrong. Also, if you have a question where there's a number of low-scoring students, so like here it says number of low-scoring questions, if there's a question where maybe like 50% of the people got it wrong, this question would show up as red, showing you that, okay, either kids didn't give this information, or maybe your answer key is wrong, but there's something wrong with this question. So all of that information is kind of given to you as well. Now, from here, you can give feedback to students. If I go back up to add-ons and flubaroo, now I have a bunch of other options. Before it was just like grade, about flubaroo, set language. But now what I can do is I can email the grades, but before I do that, what I'm going to do is edit student feedback. If you click on this, you're going to see a new column pop up in your spreadsheet down here. It says feedback for student, and it's optional. But whatever you type in here, you can send to the students in that email, but it's just individualized. So if I wanted to send something to Katie, I could type that into hers. Or if I just wanted something for Patty, only she's going to see this when I send the results. Now, generally, I would probably use those more often for those students that are struggling, telling them, come see me about this, or whatever it may be, any type of feedback you might give them. But for this, everybody got it right, so I'm just kind of giving you an example. Last step here, send the results. And you don't have to add feedback, that's just kind of an option. But you can go to flubaroo again and email the grades. So you can choose, if this is already selected, include a list of questions and their scores, so they know which ones they got right or wrong. You can include the answer key so they can actually see what the correct answer was if they got something wrong. And then you can send a message to everybody. So everybody gets that message, but those other ones are individualized. And then if I hit continue, everybody should get an email within the next minute or so. And it'll send it to the one where it says, please enter your email address, the one that you typed in here. Now, something that I just realized with this one, I hadn't done this before, but on a Google form, if you're doing it through school, up at the top there's some options. So here's the form that we actually use. If you click on require do page 88 login and automatically collect it, then you notice you had to log into your school account in order to complete this form. But what it also does then is over here, the username, it collects this for me. So I didn't realize this is the first time I've done this. I didn't really need to ask you for your email address. Because when I had you sign in and collect your username, it automatically takes your Gmail account, the .org account. So for your students taking this, you could just have them sign in to take it, and then you don't have to ask them for their email address. It's already taking it for them. And you can use that to send the students the response.